Right now, Romul, hi, afternoon. Good to chat with you. Firstly, I'm just going to walk you through what the prima facie flashes from TRAI are. They've released the recommendations and guidelines for spectrum sharing between carriers. Okay, I think we have another phone online. Mr. Sanjay Kapoor as well joins in. Mr. Kapoor, your first thoughts on TRAI recommendations?
So I've just heard the details right now, so I don't have insights into what I'm going to comment on, but prima facie, whatever I know, I will give you my opinion on that. And I would say, first of all, any sharing announcements in India are absolutely a big welcome, because a country which really has paucity of this resource, which is very critical to offering good customer experience, needs to be shared. And I'm very happy that TRAI is looking into that and has given a positive nod to sharing from 800 megahertz to 2.5 gigahertz. I think that's a welcome news. The nuances around both parties should have those spectrums in those bands is something that needs to be looked into, which could mean that if I have 3G on both sides on 2.1, then I can share 2.1 with somebody. I don't know what's the limit they've drawn on amount of spectrum that you need to hold before it is shared, so I can't comment on that. And then I believe the leasing of spectrum is not allowed, which I think is fair. But I think sharing of spectrum, given the current experience of networks, no matter which operator you speak about, is absolutely welcome. It will bring down the capital costs, it will bring down the running costs, and it will give a great user experience compared to what we are today with enhanced spectrum. So I think for the whole nation, for the industry, and for the consumer, it's a good news.
Sanjay, let me just walk you through the nitty-gritties. TRAI has recommended that spectrum in 800 to 2500 megahertz bands is now going to be shared. And what, according to you, or rather, who, according to you, would be the biggest beneficiaries? Would it be the GSM players?
The spectrum, as we progress towards newer technologies, is going to become technology agnostic. So I think the world is not in future going to be divided on GSM and non-GSM. A spectrum is a spectrum is a spectrum. And why 700 has been excluded out of here, I don't know. But 700 is not even in the horizon. Probably that's why it's excluded. But when you look at the whole band from 800 megahertz to 2.5 gigs, it virtually covers everything that's there on the table. And who does it benefit? It benefits anybody who wants a better consumer experience and wants to share spectrum with others, so that the combined spectrum on the table provides better economics and better usage experience going forward. And I think it'll impact the big operators as much as it'll impact the smaller operators. But if you were to ask me for a pick, I would say I think it is going to benefit the bigger boys.
Well, Sanjay, the stock prices are already beginning to absorb that. You've got Bharti, Reliance Communications, Idea, all these stocks are now spiking up, wherein the market is completely cooling off. So we're going to leave it at that then, Sanjay, and I'm going to just, get back to Gauri then. Gauri, you were just talking about as to how this is not really a big game changer, and Sanjay is of the view that this is going to be extremely beneficiary for all the big boy telecom majors which are in the business.
I said two reasons. One is that the big expectation was that telecom companies would be allowed to lease excess spectrum holding to other telecom companies, and that, of course, would be a parallel revenue stream. That is not allowed as far as TRAI's guidelines are concerned. Point number one. Point number two, that both parties need to have 3G spectrum to be able to share spectrum. No, there is no operator which is a pan-India 3G operator. So this could really have been a huge breakthrough for the large telecom companies that did not have 3G spectrum. That is not going to happen. And point number three, additional spectrum user charges will be implemented because TRAI sees this as a very, very attractive revenue stream, and therefore additional SUC charges will be slapped on telecom companies. So remains to be seen what really will be the pluses and the minuses, and does this really add up to a huge potential, and does it really add up to a huge plus as far as the telecom companies are concerned. But the big game changer would have been allowing telecom companies to share 3G spectrum even if they did not have 3G spectrum. That is not being allowed, and that really could really be a party pooper as far as the sector is concerned. But nevertheless, there was no sharing till now, but now telecom companies can share spectrum across all bands from 800, 900, all the way up to 3G and even 4G bands. Remains to be seen what is the potential and how much can telecom companies actually exploit that.
Sanjay, if you can still hear me, 2100 megahertz has been included within the spectrum sharing band. Is that a big positive?
So, I would like to read between lines here, and if what Gauri is saying is that the sharing of spectrum can only happen circle by circle. So if you have 2.1 gigahertz in a circle, only then can you share with another person who has 2.1 gigahertz in the same circle. Then the entire scope becomes a little narrow, and then the benefits begin to decline. So, I do not have the nitty-gritties in front of me right now, and one needs to read between lines. So overall, I think 3G is definitely a spectrum band which requires some attention, because when you look at the 3G networks, no matter which operator, again, I think the experience is really below average. It's a very, very average experience. And I think with enhancement of the number of carriers because of sharing, I think that will significantly improve both the economics and the consumer experience. But if it's limited to every circle, and if you don't have it, you can't share it, then I don't know who's going to benefit.
Sanjay, if I can ask you a question, does this also mean that all the 3G sharing packs that we had seen earlier were allowed will now again go for a change, because none of them have 3G in the same circle?
I'm not the right person to comment on that. I think the court gave a verdict, and I'm sure the operators will find an answer to that either through the DOT or through the regulator or through the court.
Okay, Sanjay, good to chat with you, and really appreciate you that you could take time out and share with us your thoughts. Just want to